Well, hi there, everyone. This is Scott Nicholson. It's Friday, January 13th. Holy cow! Oh my gosh, it's Friday the 13th. I'm on the road right now and doing a little traveling. And I've been thinking a lot. And I guess that's what happens when you go on sabbatical. You go away, you think. When I came to MIT, my original goal was to really focus on board games. That was where I was coming from, and that was what I was exploring. And I thought, this is something I can do. And as I've been here and I've gotten involved with different games research projects and I've been thinking a lot more about games and gaming, I've realized that I want to change my approach. Because what I was doing is coming in with the tool of a board game, looking at the media of a board game and saying, what can board games do? And so saying we're going to look at the board game space or the card game space and we're going to see what these things can do. And what I've realized as I've been here and I've had conversations and really got engaged with what's going on here is that's not really where I want to be. What I want to be focused on is thinking about what needs to be done, how it can be done through games, and what forms of games are best for that. So it may be that board games are going to be the best form for accomplishing something, but what I want to do is actually broaden quite a bit more the sort of games that I look at and work with. And this is where the sort of gamification exploration has come from, is this idea of, well, how can games be used to change people's behaviors, to help them get engaged with non-game activities more thoroughly? And that's not necessarily, probably not going to be a board game, but it's going to be other forms of gaming. Part of this thought has come through my exposure to groups like this one, NASAGA, the North American Simulations and Gaming Association. This is a great group that the next meeting is going to be in November in Columbus, and it's about games for training and simulation, and looking at those sort of live-action simulation games, looking at what's going on with the iPad and those sort of tablet games. So my thought process is really shifting. And thinking about, well, how can, given a task, given a goal, what are the best games to use? Not, here's a board game, let's see what we can use it for. Now, to those of you who are out there who have been fans of board games with Scott, this is probably disappointing news to hear me say that I'm not going to be focusing solely on board games, but rather focusing on the way games can make a difference. But this is really what I've been doing all along. It's just out of this concept of what libraries do, and at heart, I am a librarian, and the idea of helping people to meet their needs through a resource, whatever that resource or service happens to be, that's what libraries are, making that match between people and resources and services. And I'm saying, well, okay, let's look at the broader spectrum of all sorts of games to say, how do we match people to the games that are best going to meet their needs? And I think there's some interesting things that can go on there. What this means, though, is that at least for now, I'm not working on that board game design toolkit. I'm not really working in the board game space. And I had a realization about that. And I realized that, one thing this decision is doing is it is actually allowing me to find a little bit of the recreational passion that I felt I'd lost for board games. When you focus on something so heavily in your work and in that space, you get to a point where you are no longer able to really enjoy it. So part of this for me is being able to get back to enjoying board games as a recreational activity and using them when appropriate in scholarship, but not focusing on them. So, for example, before I came here, I was thinking, well, I'm going to teach a full course on board game design. And now I'm thinking, no, that's not really the approach. I want to look at something on games for learning, games in education, serious games, this idea of games that can make a difference, and allowing me to explore different platforms that are appropriate for that gaming experience. It does really come back to the book that I wrote, Everyone Plays at the Library, which really focuses on all sorts of games and getting libraries to helping them, guide them into whatever games they might be interested in. And I'm looking to do the same thing now with sort of education and learning and those spaces. And so that's really where my mindset is right now. So it's shifted a little bit, but I wanted to let you guys know because you've watched me from the beginning and watched as things changed as I got immersed in all of this. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. My big projects right now are continuing to work on this grant, working with MIT people for the library ARG toolkit, the alternate reality game toolkit, and thinking a lot about this meaningful gamification video that I'm going to put together, try to make that a pretty strong video that people can share to talk about my feelings on what's going on with gamification and how a lot of people are getting it wrong. So anyway, that's where I am. I will talk to you all later, and take care. Bye-bye.